Okay.
You know, looking forward to this discussion. Definitely.
We've lost the heat. We had the heat for months, and then as soon as Carnival's coming, boom, grey clouds, rain, etc., etc. But to be expected. But this is England, as you know. But yes, yeah, it'll be interesting discussion, hot topic, and yeah, hopefully we can. I don't know. Some people are blinkered, some people are on the fence, and some people just don't want to know. So anyway, we shall feed them with some information, and hopefully some people will. I'm not going to use the word converted, but be a bit more sympathetic at the very least. At the very least. All right, cool. Up next, I'm going to give you one of our better DJs. I know I'm going to get problems for saying that. Anyway, one of Lightning, I think the longest serving DJ on Lightning Radio, if my memory serves me correct. The one and only Soul du Jour. Let me bring him in. How you doing, sir? Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, chat room.
Yeah, you good? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
To the monk. Good evening to yourself, Jahrrell.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
All the other guests about to come in. Yeah.
So, yeah, yeah. So with yourself, I know I think your mindset's a bit like mine. You're not against it, but at the same time, it just in a year from now, 18 months from now, all things could change, as you know.
Yeah.
As with a lot of things. So
Yeah.
yeah, and you know you can't what's the word swim against the tide. But hey,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Well,
All right.
I'll say AI is here to stay. So people just need to, get with the program. But we of course will discuss it more in depth as the show goes on.
Absolutely. 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 Cool. All right. Let me bring up the next gentleman. And his Sunday morning live stream is it's a phenomenon by itself. And this guy's got plenty of followers. His situation room is one to watch on a Sunday morning, stroke afternoon. And one of the circuit's finest. Yeah. So without further ado, Mr. Sweet Vibes himself, let me bring him on. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening, Jahrrell.
How you doing?
Good, I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, I can't complain. Midday. Let me put it that way.
That's good. Evening, Sean. How you doing, Sean? You go?
Yeah, I'm good, Ray. And yourself?
Not doing too bad, mate. Not doing too bad.
Nice one, sir.
Nice to meet you, the monk.
What's going on, brother? You good?
I'm good, bro. Good. And a chat room, hello.
Yeah. We will be getting to them. Don't worry, we'll be getting to them. All right. Last but not least, let me introduce. This guy's been making music from the 80s, and one of my favorite tracks from him. He did a track with Misha Paris. What's it? One on One. Splendid. But he also did a track with was it Revival? I can't pronounce her name, so I'm not going to embarrass myself. But anyway, Martina Gorette, something like that. Anyway, let me bring him on board, Mr. Ray Hayden.
What's up, fam?
How you doing, sir?
Good man. Martin Jahrrell. Yeah, everybody.
Martin Jahrrell. There you go.
Nice to meet you all, guys.
Nice one.
Nice to meet you too.
What's up?
Unfortunately, let me let the people know from now, I've had two dropouts, unfortunately. Lorraine King couldn't be on here because her partner, she had to take him to hospital. So get well soon, Martin. And Simple Simon of Galflex, he's not feeling too well. So again, get well soon, sir. So, but the show must go on. So with that, let's just proceed and let's see where this conversation takes us. Yeah, why not? All right, ladies, gents, because I thought Lorraine would have been there. So, gents, let's start with the phenomenon that is AI music right now, and you know, you listen to shows, and more or less, every other DJ is playing AI tracks now. It was before it was, funky house and this and that and everything. Now, a lot of DJs are playing the AI, and like I said, each to their own. And with everything, there's good and there's bad, as with everything. But let me start with this. Well, I know Ray, I know you're into it, so let's start with that. What's brought you and said, you know what? Let me. I don't know. I don't say the word champion, but let me go with this and see where it takes me, and and you can take it from there.
Well, I just like the music. I think in the beginning, I don't think I even really knew what was AI and what wasn't AI. To be honest with you, I heard a track, I went by my ears, and I thought it sounds good. I can play it. As it's developed over time, and your eyes and your ears get accustomed to certain of the characteristics of AI, you kind of know, what is. Well, you've got to find a ear tune for what is AI and what is not. But at the same speed, for me, I play a track that I find that the crowd will enjoy and they may engage with. Yes, it's hard for them to purchase certain of the tracks, but there are certain tracks that AI that you can Shazam and you can get hold of on other platforms by producers. But really, I just go by my ear, and if it feels good to me, then I play it. Which is what I've done over the years of DJing anyway. It's nothing different, to be fair.
Okay. Cool. Well, can't argue with that. Yeah, as you're right, as with everything, any DJ or any person in general, listen to music, you buy music, how it resonates with you first and foremost. Sean, same again. You tell your thing. Are you an advocate for playing it or not at the moment?
As things stand at the moment, my first initial experience of AI music was the Monk, who's here. I bought with the tune before I even knew they were AI. But as time has progressed, I think the vibe is very samey. Yeah. When you hear the female vocals, they sound the same on every single AI tune, therefore. The male vocals, the same. And that is what my problem is at the moment. With me, I like music that's different. And at the moment, I'm finding a lot of the AI tunes that are out, they all sound the same. And for me, it's pretty boring. I'm going to go on record and say AI is here to stay. And I know that the software is being used, softwares like Sonar, for example, and I think recently start adding your own voices to it. And I think maybe that will make the sound starting to sound better. I think it needs, for me to really start liking it more, is when it gets to a point where it doesn't sound like a computer. Because at the moment, it just sounds like a repetitive computer.
Okay, well, you know what? That's my sentiments. Not all of them, but a lot of them out there, synthetic.
Look,
unfortunately,
is it my first time love? By yourself, Monk.
Mm-hmm.
For me, undisputed #1 AI tune. Yeah, the rest, yes, the rest. It's just like listening to the same thing over and over again with the same beat.
Did you know it was AI, Sean? Did you know it was AI when you first heard it?
What? Which one? My first time love.
Yeah, the track you just
when I
mentioned.
knew it was AI. By that time, I started to establish that the Monk was AI. So I knew by that time, because there's tunes that Jason has released prior to that tune, that I've bought. I've bought off his Bandcamp page. I follow you on Bandcamp, by the way, Jake. So
yeah, I know.
Off of Bandcamp, and so I am now aware that yes, the Monk is an AI artist. unless Jason tells me differently, and they're, it might be using real voices here, there, or whatever, But at the moment, I know I'd see the monk as, he's an AI artist.
All right, cool. All right, so, all right, let me, I'll come to you last, Jason. Ray Hayden, a man making music from 90 long time in UK soul. So, what's your take with all this AI and so on?
Well, first of all, I don't think AI is something anybody should be afraid of. I think it's just it's a tool, and it's now becoming its own genre. So, some people don't like country music, some people may not like AI music. I think as a music maker, as a singer, I think people in my position, and maybe that's why you haven't been able to get many singers to come on board tonight. I think there is a threat from, if there's a lot of AI music, then the royalty pool gets shortened, especially when you're talking about the kind of AI that just gets made to just take money from the system where they're making 2-minute tracks and they just got loads of bots playing them all day. So that's really the negative side of AI. And anybody using any tool has to be responsible. And if you're creative, then you can do what my man's done with his Monk album, which is exceptional. That's an exceptional product under any circumstances. And I think the big dilemma that really AI poses at this moment in time, and it's going to change in a year, it'll be a whole different discussion, I bet. But for now, what artists and producers are looking at, who have been doing it for as long as I have, for example, I've got expectations from my audience. They expect a certain vibe from my work. So AI can only be used in my toolkit to supplement what I do. Otherwise, I'm doing something entirely different. So, and then for people who are coming along for the first time, like my man here, with the Monk project, right? So the way I see that, that's got integrity and it's got a lot of art in it. And all of us know, listening to that product, all of us know that that's some serious music going on in there. That's not just like 2 prompts and done with it. There's a lot extra going on, for sure. Those songs are arranged, they've got details, they got a likability that appeals to our age group and our scene. And you can't do that by accident that many times. That has to be properly engineered. So props, hats off. But a lot of producers are pulling in AI stuff, and you have to make this balance between, are you going to create something that if you're using it exclusively as an AI track, you're ripping somebody off somewhere along the line, even though it's a composite of maybe 1,000 tracks. But that was never yours, because it don't create. It can only look back and pull out from what's being done and create something. It's where I'm using Ace, by the way. So I recently bought this. This does AI music, but it's very limited in the music side of it. But what it does, which I want, is the AI virtual instruments. So I can take my performances and I can drop them into Ace, and it interprets them in a much more lifelike and more natural way than if I'm using my contact library, which is what I use mostly. So to me, it's a tool that I can use to supplement my sound. If you're going to come with a complete AI track, it better be good, because there's so much out there that is just rubbish, that you then say to yourself, well, that's where you can see an actual genre starting that will be seriously, worked on, arranged, mixed, stems all separated out, and you start with something that you build on, and then you come back and it's a done project like the Monk project. Now, to me, that's a really good use, creative use of AI, where it's like a tool that you're manipulating.
Okay. Well, thank you for your input, sir. Well, I'll definitely come back to you. Yes, Jason, before I come to you, I'm going to say this disclaimer or whatever to all the artists, bar two, that I contacted, messaged, etc. And for all of you that saw my message and it said you saw it and you never replied, thank you. For all those who messaged me with I'm going to decline, thank you. But you see, this is the thing. You as Ray said, it's a tool. But if they come on now and say, "Oh, I'm using it," or "I like it," I don't know. Maybe they think they're going to lose credibility or audience or whatever. Or like I said, what happened to Jill Scott the other day when she said she liked her AI track, and then everybody jumped on her on X. I don't know if she's still recovered for that, but hey. But anyway, to all those artists who I did reach out to and declined, and DJs, I'm going to say it now, and DJs, I thank you. Anyway, Mr. Jason, yes, explain your journey up until now, please.
All right. So yes, pleasure, Jahrrell. Thank you. I think this is a very important. I think we've come to a really important point when it comes to AI and music, with all the development that's gone on over the years that's been around. And interestingly, you know, my Reimagined album seems to be in the tipping point for a few people in terms of what AI is capable of producing around the noise of AI slop, and it's not really music, right? My journey started 2 years ago, and I'm a technology guy in my regular work, and I just got fascinated with this concept of making music using AI and what that actually meant. You know, I echo a lot of what Mr. Ray Hayden said, who I'm a massive fan. My friend, you already know that, and thank you for the support over the time I've been doing this. You always leaving comments, but you know, I echo a lot of what he says. I think there is a distinct difference between making good music and making bad music. It doesn't matter what tool you're using. You need to recognize that, you know, there is good and bad music everywhere. You know, AI as a tool within your production chain, you know, it's going to become the norm at some point. In a year's time, we won't be having this conversation, but right now, it is really a point where there's a lot of conflict, and a lot of that comes from people not really understanding how it works. You know, you've got certain platforms like Suno, which makes it very easy for you to create really generic tracks. And in doing that, you know, it's kind of created this massive noise of people just making like really mediocre, sloppy music, right? To your point, you know, the vocals sound the same, the arrangements sound the same, the vocals meander. You know, they let AI write the lyrics. Then they put it out and they say that's a good tune. Like, it's not, right? The human ears is the human ears, and how it vibrates with people is very important. Yep. My whole journey has been a planned journey. I've been learning it. I've been disrupting it, which is very important, to learn how to disrupt AI from what it actually wants to do, force it to do what you want it to do, and act the way you want it to act. And, you know, I started at the very beginning doing nothing but AI, you know, completely. I don't use Suno. I use other AI platforms to get this done. There's other AI platforms when vocals are done a lot better than Suno vocals, right? And now I've got to a point where I use my own models to produce music, right? I've got to that point right now. But I think a lot of, you know, the conversations that we need to have, and especially for those people who are naysayers, to me, good music is good music. If it resonates with you, it resonates with you. The method of how it got there is where the big inflection point is. And I understand the angst of singers, songwriters, musicians. To the point, people throwing up tons of music is going to shrink the royalty pool. You know, that's never my intent with the music that I do. I just want to make good music. That's why I poured so much into the Reimagine project, which is a hybrid project. It's not 100% AI, right? That's why it has a certain depth. It has a certain gravitas. You know, we use AI as a skeleton. We rip some stuff out. We have human vocals in there as well as AI vocals. So it's a real hybrid and mismatch of different traditional production and AI production. And it shows. And I think going forward, you know, what I really wanted to show to other musicians I'm attached to, you know, over here in Canada, I did a lot of work with a lot of musicians with festivals and shows. Worked with a lot of live musicians, did retreats and songwriter retreats and stuff. So I learned a lot over my 10 years. I really wanted to show them that this is a technology that's coming. If you don't understand how it works and you don't understand the mechanics of it, eventually technology companies are going to take you over, and that whole replacement theory is going to become a reality, right? So learn how it works. Learn what it does. You don't necessarily need to understand how to use it. You may even use slight elements of it. There's great things about it for ideas and structuring, And if you're really good, you can create whole tracks that are really good, like really, really good, solid tracks. But without that understanding from their side of the fence and sitting on the other side of the fence and keep saying, wagging their finger and saying you shouldn't do it, this is going to continue to move. And eventually we get left behind. And, you know, you might find yourself out on the other side where these technology companies will eventually figure out how to make music themselves without human interaction, which we don't want to happen.
Yeah.
You know, we need to put controls around it. We need to put guidelines around it, you know, to ensure that the eventual path you see they're going on, where AI agents start creating music for you on your behalf and defining what your music genre is and what you need to listen to, that's where they want to get to, because that's a great monetization exercise for them. But if these musicians keep staying on the outside and not involving themselves, that's where you're going to end up. So it's going to take like people like myself, people like Ray using Ace Studio. I use Ace Studio as well, man. It's a fantastic product. Without more people really getting involved and understanding it and then helping guide it, you know, it's going to be a runaway train. So that's my view and that's my stance on it.
Yeah, eloquently said, so. I like I said, I'm a novice when it comes to AI, but I as everybody else like what you like. But as Sean said and myself, from my standpoint, the beats are there and everything like that. But it's for me, it's always been the vocals, and until the vocals sound more humanized, or better still, if they actually use vocalists, then like I said, I will be choosy which ones if I play any. I do play some, but like I said, I'm right now it's generic, and I'm gonna say this, and this may upset some people. For some people right now, it's a hustle. You know, they got the software and they're just churning out, and that's fine. That's fine. And like I said, people are picking them up. People are playing them. People to a degree are enjoying them. But at some point, the standard has to rise. In regards
But is that
to...
not the point?
Huh?
But is that not the point? At the end of the day, the cream always rises to the top.
Oh, well, eventually.
And it's nothing different from back in the day when you had DJs who were further up the chain than other DJs, and they were buying or collecting records, or had ins to people who had niche records, and you couldn't get there. So what did you do? You bought bootlegs, and you played the bootlegs until you could get the original.
Correct.
If you need that, until you got more money or you got more famous, you got more bookings, and then you started buying the originals just to compete with the DJs who are at the top, isn't it? So I don't really. History just repeats itself, different way. But I don't think this is any different.
Yeah, no. I mean, like I said, don't knock the hustle, as a certain rapper would say. but as you said, when we had the test the other day, and you said that line, Ray, nothing stays the same, and technology just moves forward, and there's no point fighting it. You may not like it, but it's there. So
And to add, there was a lot of DJs back in the day, vinyl, CD, that used to play a lot of faff records. They were absolutely crap. I don't care what anybody's got to say. They were playing some rubbish.
Oh.
And so this is nothing new. This is what we're talking about. And, you know, I do love the debate. I do really love it. But I see some people pouring some time and energy into it. And I don't think, what I love about, you know, especially some of the stuff that they do, including Monk, they're playing some of the tunes that I grew up to and love. Like, you can feel it in there. You know what I mean? No one else is doing that. You know what I mean? And if you look at what we would traditionally call our soul or two-step or slow jams, there ain't none of that out there. There ain't none of that out there, really. Right, you might say there's one or two artists that might do a little, like Kalini might come with a slow jam sometimes, or Coco might do a little slow jam, and you're thinking, oh, that kind of reminds me of a back in the day feeling. But not on the level that we're used to. So this is part of the reasons why I think so many people are gravitating towards it. It's the sound. I think Ray said it before, it's the sound of what we was used to, what we grew up to. Is that sign of how we came to be loving a blues dance or loving the club feeling and so forth. those samples of the tracks are in there, and I think that's why a lot of people gravitate towards it. And give the vocals. The vocals, I agree with Sean on some of them,
Yeah.
but I think they give it a pass because of the fact of the feeling of it.
Well, again, it's music has always been subjective. So, you know, what's my treasure is another man's rubbish, and vice versa. But no, like, yeah, I've always stated AI is here to stay. So, for those who are pushing back, and there's a lot of people who push back hard, and there's some of them in the chat room. You know, they push back hard, and that's fine because, you know, they're used to a certain thing, and they can't get past a certain thing. And I'm not here to tell anybody to like or dislike, but I will say this: it's like a vehicle. When you first started to drive, you had what, and now you've reached a certain point. Now you want to get this. So are you going to make noise now because the combustion engine is now battery? So you're not going to drive a battery car? So we leave it as that. But anyway, Mr. Ray. So Ray Hayden, sorry, I forget there's two of them. Beg your pardon. Ray Hayden, sir. So with that, how do you see, from your perspective, how do you see you using AI to improve what you make, your workflow, etc., etc.?
Well, before I answer that question, I just want to come back on something Jason said. You know, it's like about the AI and how he's put so much of himself into it. And I think one of the things that our punters, should we say, the audience is looking at a lot with AI music is they don't identify with anyone because there's not normally a real genuine face to it. But when I heard Jay explaining his story, it was really endearing to me. And I'm not an AI skeptic. I think it's a tool that we have to be able to use, and I'll explain how I do that. But one of the things that really struck me with what you were saying there, Jason, is that I suddenly started to understand where people who know Ray Hayden will know, oh, that's Ray Hayden from Opats. He's done that, whatever. But when you see the monk, you don't know who that is. And when I hear you speak now, it just is like, oh, right. You know, I think that this is where when AI, and it will be a separate genre, essentially, legally and in every other way, very soon, with all the big cases, all the class action cases against Suno and Udio. So it's gonna get its legal framework sorted. And when that happens, that's when it can really actually grow. When it becomes responsible, because you're using it responsibly, but like Jahrrell was saying, there are people who are just putting out sloth AI and they're minting it. And people like me, who spent 30, 40 years working on my craft, I'm up against somebody who's in their bedroom in Birmingham and they think they're a producer, you know, because they can type a prompt. It's like me looking at me and saying I'm a fucking astronaut, you know what I mean? So, but when you can see that it's crafted, I think it gives it the value of an artist, which is what often people say is missing from AI. It's not real. But when you hear Jason explaining it and how he's pulled it together and the work and the artistry from a production point of view, even though he's using an AI tool, I think that's where we will see really fascinating results in the future. And to come back to your question, your actual question, I'm using it where my current tool falls short. So my current tool falls short in expression. So let's imagine, like, in fact, on the last track I put out, the one that's currently out, which is going really well for us, the horn section and the guitar, I played all the MIDI and stuff. I've dropped it into 8. When I was getting the results back from using Contact, this is a plugin on my Cubase system. So it's got wicked sounds. In fact, the sounds are better than anything that you'll get from AI for the moment. But the performance isn't there because you have what's called key switches. So if you want a horn section, surfaces sound boring, but it's best people understand how it works. So if you want to create a horn section that goes, you know, you've got short notes, and long notes, and sustained notes. You have to program each one of those in from a preset that may have 5 different ways of it being performed. So the note C, stab, legato, pitch bend, and then you select which one works best for that part of the phrase, and by about 4 hours later, you've got your phrase, and it still sounds like that. But you can take that same MIDI pattern, which might take me 15 minutes to create, drop it into Ace, and it understands what I'm trying to do. And it doesn't have just 4 or 5 key switches. It has the virtual instruments are performed by real musicians. They're recorded into Ace's database. And when you ask, the MIDI asks for the performance back, it doesn't do it just using the MIDI, it interprets it using AI, and it thinks about what the performance is supposed to be and gives you a performance that's got grace notes, it's got little soft sections that are performed tonally differently. So, and you can't get that with, you can do it with strings, are amazing on Cubase, but horns and guitar. So I like the old funky wah-wah guitars, some guitars. Most of the programs that just sounds like some white dude from Alabama playing. When you go into, I know that, right? But you know what I'm saying, right? So, but when you go into Ace and you put the same MIDI parts in, it just comes back played like it was played by somebody who's up in Harlem, sitting on the doorstep, jamming on that and feeling it. And that's a huge difference for my work. So I can step up certain parts of my product by using those tools. But if I was to go the other way and just get something completely done with AI, then it wouldn't sound like okay. I'd be like Chris Brown or something like that, which obviously wouldn't be me. So I can only use the tools to supplement my sound, or I lose my audience. And also, a lot of artists will be worried about stuff with AI, thinking, I'm going to lose my integrity because people think that I'm no longer real. But if I was a singer, I love doing all my own harmonies. As you probably know from my style, there's lots of vocals on my tracks. But some people are really good songwriters, but not necessarily great singers. AI could maybe solve those problems too. So you can get your backings done real quick. You can throw your backing vocals, and you can even base it off your own voice. So those tools can be helpful without taking away anything from your artistry. But you just have to be sensitive about how you're using them. And also, I think if you're using them, you've got to tell people that you're using them. So I always post up of my work in progress, what I'm doing on my Cubase, and I show people what I'm doing, and I say that was AI there. I've even done an AI track, which I put out as Okaz AI, an R&B pop AI remix. So it's clearly labeled. And I think that, and I got love for that, but I think it's because I was being honest about it. So I see that the AI thing is going to be a rub until everybody feels satisfied that their rights are protected, which is fair, and that the use of it is sensitive and not exploiting people's work that they ain't even getting any props for or any money for. More importantly.
Oh, thank you. If you're seeing some of the comments, I know Ray's seen some. He's smiling slyly. But one gentleman on YouTube, good evening, Soul Sorts, and we're talking about the voices, and he says there are plenty real voices about now that he wouldn't want to listen to regardless, let alone AI. So, so anyway, Soul Sorts, thanks for that. But and I hear him. So that kind of like dismisses what I said, but I'm still, for me, the human voice is the greatest instrument. And yeah, until, from my perspective anyway, when I hear that definitely in the productions and so on, then I'll be playing them more on a regular basis. But with that, I'm sure you guys must have saw over the weekend Dr. Dre put out a big statement basically saying he will be using AI. And he also said that for those who are pushing back against it, especially artists, etc., or creators, it's because, well, to him, those who are complaining are not creative enough or can't create. So I'm going to pose that to all of you. And how do you see that? Is he correct, or is it just a sign of the times?
Who's going to answer first? I disagree with that. I think at the end of the day, artists are going to protect their work, aren't they? So I kind of disagree with that. Yes, AI is here to stay, but maybe what they should do, like what Raya said, OPAT, try and use it to incorporate or maybe better your work. Not just basically eradicate artists and be just using solely AI.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I like to add a comment here, and I have my own conspiracy theories as to why Dre put out that announcement. Right now,
I'm with you on that one as well. Go on.
It conveniently lined up with Suno settling with BMG for licensing for their music to be used in this catalog. Like all the things are lining up, right? They're definitely going in a particular direction. I don't agree at all with his statement. Like creativity goes across the board, right? So, if you have artists that want to stay in analog and never use digital workstations, go do your thing. People that use DAWs and Pro Tools, do your thing. Now you have another technology with AI, which is now moved from prompting. Now you've got Suno's latest version, which now essentially works like a DAW, right? Plug your keyboard in, understands MIDI. You can prompt your own plugins. Like you see where it's going, right? So him saying that, people should be fear of their creativity, I think is a bunch of crap. I think it's a statement that he made to try and normalize what's coming downstream. No one's pushing it back against Dre like they pushed back against Jill Scott.
Correct.
Right? No one's doing that, right? And then if you kind of look at how AI music now, especially with Suno's being pushed, it's now no longer about making slop. It's about now, as a regular producer or musician, you can play into it now and create real music with that DAW system that they've created. They're trying to legitimize what they do. And again, I say this respectfully because I produce music in AI. I think it was a disingenuous comment that he made. And like I said, he's a big enough fish that no one's ever going to go after him. And then it's going to kind of normalize some of the things that's going to come downstream. And I'm telling you, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I can almost see where this is going to end up. And that's why I always keep saying, us grassroots and independent artists need to understand what's happening with that technology. Because if you do not understand what's happening with technology, it will overtake you. And to your point, Sean, the replacement theory that people talk about may become a reality.
Yeah. And I saw a comment earlier on, I think it was James Kismetite Lengs. There's a couple interesting comments on there. There was one that was running out DJs who are something on the AI. And there was another interesting comment which basically was just saying about, loving a human voice over AI. And for me, that one that's the most powerful one there. Loving the human voice over AI.
But isn't there a few different variations of this that we're looking at? There's the production element, which is Monk and Ray.
Yeah.
There's you DJing as a radio presenter.
Yeah.
Streaming music. And there's also you playing out as a DJ and playing this AI music to people who are out there and come to a party and pay their money to come and listen to you as a DJ. So I'm not quite sure for you and Jahrrell what you're scared of.
There's nothing to be scared of because at the moment.
So would you play the music? So okay, so if you're in a live situation and you're in front of a club, you've got people in front of you. It's a slow jams time.
Yeah.
Would you take out Monk's selection and play it? Would you take out a track from his box and play it?
Can I answer? I
want both of you to answer. I definitely want Sean to answer.
Yeah. No, I'll answer. I'll answer. Don't worry. Right. Like I said, right now, with a lot of this stuff coming out, not all of it, it sounds more Ricky Martin.
I never answered you that though.
No. Listen. I'm getting there. Right. Good. Ricky Martin and Taylor Swift to my ears. But all right then. But all right. Let me say this. What did I say? Oh, slow jam, ride the wave. I'd play that in a dance. I'd have no qualms with playing that in a dance. No qualms.
Sure.
My first
No
time
qualms.
love, I'll play that.
You would play that.
Yeah, my first time love. I bet
You
you
play that.
a lot of the guys that are playing AI, they even heard that.
So you would play it then.
Yeah.
So we've got a common consensus that as DJs, you've put some of the AI that you don't like or you don't think are at that level, you put it to the side, just like you would do a vinyl or a CD or an MP3 track, yeah? And you're playing what you think can work to a live audience, yes? Same on your radio shows, yes?
So can I pose a question back to you with regards to the AI? Because I listen to you, yeah. I'm out on road a lot, yeah, and I listen to your Sunday morning show, and you play a lot of AI, Ray. How many of those AI that you're playing on a Sunday morning, how many of them do you play on Saturday night when you're out in the clubs?
Oh, them questions. Listen, it's not different. No, it's fine. It's no different. It's no. And this is what I said. It's no different from the music I used to get back in the day. No, I'm going to answer your question. It's no different from the music that I used to be serviced, the music that I used to go and buy in the shop. I used to play some on the radio.
Yeah.
And some, and if I played tunes on the radio, some wouldn't transcend into me playing them out. This is no different. Just because I play it on my show doesn't mean that I'm going to play it out. Well, listen, AI cannot replace you doing a 3:30 or a 3 o'clock set, and you've got people in front of you and judging the people in front of you and will this tune hit? Yeah. It's not going to replace that, is it? So, well, no, there's no. It's not now. It's maybe. Until it's on a Terminator vibe and it gets, people are plugged into it and it can read people's soul and feelings and how they're feeling at that time, maybe. But I'm doing no different than what I did 30 odd years ago. So what's the problem? I don't.
Well, I think, Ray, with regards to your question, I think times have changed. Yeah, 30 years ago, you I remember, especially with your scene, that we'd run, you'd hear the tune, a tune would get bust along with all of the regular tunes, and then a new tune would get bust, and you'd run to maybe Red Records as an aspiring DJ, coming up, you'd run to Red Records and get that tune. But now I can't see how that will happen with AI, because a lot of it. What my problem is at the moment, a lot of it sounds rubbish. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but you just said there's a gentleman who's right next to you that hasn't got rubbish. And you just said I would take a track and I would play.
Yeah.
So how's that any different? How's that any different from before AI was a thing? How's it any different for you as a DJ who plays to live audiences?
Well, it's not really different, is it? But my thing is, I just think that at the moment there's a lot of AI that it shouldn't even be done. It just needs not to be done. And part it is being, and it's a lot of the stuff we're just, this way. I've even come to you about an AI track.
You're old, man. You're old.
I'm not old. I'm not old. If you see some of these recent ones where they're taking an old tune and then someone decided that, look, let me do an AI version of it. Why? Why?
Let me come in there. Yeah, not that you're struggling, but
I'm definitely not struggling.
when the AI stuff first came about, the guy that I don't know his name, but the guy behind Suno, I've seen him on videos saying that he was kind of starting off from a game point of view, something that was aimed at the same audience that bought into Fortnite. I don't think that he initially may have even taken it as seriously, potentially, how impactful it would be on the music business. And obviously it's blown up, and now it's got its own door and everything. But at the end of the day, it started off as something that you couldn't even see how you're going to make money from it. It wasn't like some master idea to just take over the music business. It kind of crept in, and the technology just blew up. And then you've got all these people who got no idea about music, putting out loads and loads of tracks. And then you've got some people who know how to scam. So they was making loads of tracks and throw up on Spotify or wherever so they could just scam it. And there's loads of cases where they're all ending up in jail now. But it's been exploited. And now when it gets regulated, let me tell you what I predict here. Once it gets regulated, this is just the start. And I think Monk was pointing about this earlier. Once it's regulated, it's going to go in a whole net direction, which I think will be better than anything that we're talking about now. For example, I don't know how much you guys know about the general principles with AI. So at the moment, when you're using ChatGPT, it's something that's on your desktop. If you're using Suno, you go online, you go to Suno. And the long-term plan for AI is that it integrates into everything. And then they're going to call that general AI, right? So when I was doing some research about this to come onto this program, I hadn't even asked ChatGPT, because I use ChatGPT for my video work, right? So I hadn't even asked ChatGPT if it has any music training or anything like that. So I said, do you have any music training? It's like, we're not trained on music. So I said, okay, so you don't know anything about Marvin Gaye or whatever particularly. You're not studying his records. They're not sitting on your database somewhere. So I said to it, before I said, create me a MIDI file that encapsulates our conversation, a piano piece. And it created me a 16-bar piano piece. I didn't even know it could do this. And I dropped it into Cubase, and it was kind of solemn and melancholy, but it had this nice little vibe to it. So where this is going to end up going, when it's all flattened out legally and everything else, is I will be able to say to one way or other, and I've asked it about. I've asked ChatGPT if it knows of any research going on in this area, and there's loads. All the big companies like Steinberg, which is Cubase, Logic, all these guys are going to bring AI into their systems within the next year, right? So I'll be able to sit down, and where at the moment I was explaining I'm using ACE to get around certain problems, I'll probably just be able to do that inside Cubase and say, I want that to sound more like it's sort of snappy. I want it to sound more like that. And just tell it. And it will just be adapting my part to sound better. And why that's really important, right, is because the more people come out with really good AI, I have to work harder. It makes me work harder on my shit because I don't want to be left behind. Nobody wants to be left behind. So you either, unless, I've got friends here where I live, there's a rock band. They don't do anything that's not live. They record an analog tape. They tour. That's how they make their money. They sell their records on vinyl. Right? That's a niche now. The rest of us are competing in a very different market, and we have to have all the best, latest tools. Period.
Okay. Okay. Well,
I've actually got Sunos on my phone. I made an AI track with Sunos on my phone. That's how easy it is.
Yeah.
I think it's you that. But I think it's you that James is talking about as it goes.
You're right.
Because you're putting it out, but you've got it on your phone. So I don't understand this. I don't understand this.
I wrote the lyrics in ChatGPT, and I put a little, wrote the lyrics in ChatGPT, put it into Sunos, made a record. Jahrrell, did I not send it to you?
Yeah.
Send it to me. Send it to me.
Yeah.
It's not even nothing spectacular. I done it I just done like something like Western style.
Stop it now.
Send it to me. Yeah.
But all right, then. But this is the next thing. All right, then. This is the next thing. So with and it's just gonna get better and better and better as the months and years go by. So the next you got to say to yourself, will there be any need for like voice trainers and artist development and all them thing there? Would there be any need for A&R managers and all that? Days to talent spotters, because that's, if this is getting to where it's going to get, would there be a need for any of that? I mean, because in all honesty, unless you're, as Ray said, there's bands who are they're going to be, we're doing the live vocals, we're doing the live instruments, that's our thing. They may well end up being, what's the word I'm looking for? As you said, niche. They won't be the regular. Would there be any need for development and so on and so on? Companies, record labels can spend their money creating AI tracks and not bother about giving out contracts to artists and so on, because they can just generate their own thing. And it's, to be honest with you, I can see that happening in the years to come. But that's just my take on it right now.
No, I think that's very accurate. That's very likely as well. I think that when we see that, if we go back 40 years and we look at the first drum machines that came out,
Lin drums.
they look like the Lim drum and all those, right? You could blow the chips, the Oberheim, you could blow the chips, and you had your own little sample that you could put onto that one chip, and that was like, wow, that was magic, right? Then they came out with the Akai sampler, where you could get one sampler could have 8 outputs, and you could store like 2 minutes of sounds and play them across the keyboard. So it was massively transformational technology, and that without that and the SL1200, there'd be no hip hop. There would have been no hip hop scene, right? This technology that we're dealing with today, which is just starting. This is just starting. The potential, I can't even imagine what the potential is, but things that you're saying are definitely one of those potentials. Because what do records spend money on? Artists, right? And how do they make money? Profiting from artists' labor. If they get rid of the artist equation, yeah, they can make a load of money. And if they already got the catalog, so all they have to do is say, for all the artists that we've signed in history, we're just going to take a little bit of your work and give you nothing for it, like we normally do. But now we're going to create whole new genres of music, and they're going to make all the money from it because they own the recording material. That's the law, right? So there's a potential there, which I don't think they're going to skip. Spotify are doing something where they're introducing something where you can take one of my tracks, you could take Revival, for example, and you could just get an AI remix done within Spotify. I still get paid, apparently. I don't know how that works just yet, but that's something they're developing. And I think the only thing you can do when these things come along is try and stay ahead of the curve, because the minute you slip behind, then catching up is really, really hard. So when we see this technology and when people watching these kind of debates, right, listen to the words everybody's saying, because we've got people from all areas of the scene right here on this screen right now. One guy saying he hates AI music because it all sounds the same. Another man's like, if it's good, I'm playing it. Those are just the rules. One man's making it. So you have everybody from the scene. I'm a bit skeptical, but I still appreciate it. So what we're talking about today is going to be remembered, because these are the first steps into this technology, and we're talking about it. And take notes if you come to this for the first time.
Yeah. I just want to add, when you talked about no need for A&R artist development, I mean, that train started a while ago, right? When you went to streaming services, and people could start making their own tracks through, tools like Fruity Loops, and they can upload and distribute themselves through TuneCore and stuff. That whole system started to break down immediately, because everyone became far more independent, and everyone's going for the 1 million streams on Spotify. So you kind of saw it started to happen early. These companies, the Spotifys, the AI companies, the record labels, they're all going to be in collusion to make sure that at some point they're going to monetize the hell out of this thing, right? That's why they came after Udio as hard as they did. That's why they came after Suno as hard as they did, because now these platforms actually started to produce music that could compete with music that was going into the charts made by normal people. So they slapped all the restrictions on them, but at the same time they're doing deals in the back end, right? And those deals in the back end allows them to ensure that whatever you make, they're going to make money from. And these models are going to continue to be enriched, because remember, all of these AI platforms are learning. They're not just learning from what they scraped. They're learning from you using it, right? So your human creativity, when you do these AI tracks and these AI platforms, it's learning more about how to make better music or the types of music people are making. And they're tracking all this stuff. So eventually, to your point, and that's why I said, and to Ray's point, staying ahead of what's happening and trying to start to build out something that could put some brakes on call these things out early is going to avoid the point where AI agents will become composers, songwriters, arrangers, and singers, because they'll have all of the algorithms and the learning to be able to start producing a version of neo soul or a version of jazz or a version of X or Y or Z. I don't think humans will ever go away, right? You know, there's always gonna be a place for that. You know, performance is a big thing of music. People want to see it perform, and people say, well, how do you perform AI music? Well, right now you can't. But if you're taking a look now, they're doing the robotic Olympics over in Japan, where they're doing sprints, 100-meter sprints, right? And this is early in the technology. 2 years' time, it's not going to look like this. So that's why I said earlier, you know, I think this is a really important and pinnacle conversation, because I think we're going to be quickly at a turning point. The way this thing is escalating and improving on a daily basis. You know, the models I was using a year ago, like they're on steroids now. You know, I can get things done quicker. The quality's there. I don't have to think about things as much. I don't have to disrupt it as much as I did before. And it's just going to continue to improve what it can do. So
can I jump in there very quickly? Just a point to add there, man. But what I've been seeing, I'm sure you're seeing the same kind of post as me. There's one going around where there's a club in Ibiza and everybody's just got their phone out. They're not even dancing, you know. I don't know. I've been to I've done DJing a little bit, and I did a few parties about 2 years ago, and I was surprised at how many people was on dancing around the floor and they've got their damn phone in their hand. And they're going out and listening to music and dancing. I don't know if it's quite as bad as that in the black music scene, but I know in general, you know, white public, that seems to be the thing. They're going there, they're taking their phones, and it's an event that they want to share on their Instagram or their TikTok, and people are changing how they are engaging with music already. They're already changing that. People don't buy big hi-fi systems anymore. It's all on smaller speakers. It's on their Bluetooth this, Bluetooth that, and it's only connoisseurs really that have hi-fi systems go out and buy records and proper listening to records. I think the consumer is changing, and I think AI is going to be a really big push on how that audience reacts, because they're not really engaging, so they will take on anything that comes at them right now, because they're not in it for the same reasons that we would have been in the first place.
This is true, and also, as you notice, records are getting shorter, right? Like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right, and it's 2.5 minutes because they're trying to optimize it for the algorithm for Spotify. Anything longer, you drop down in the algorithm. How can you create music for 2.5 minutes that's going to tell a story, set a tone? It's more of a vibe thing, and that's why a lot of the music starts to sound the same, very similar. Nothing stands out anymore, because they're looking at these platforms out there to go get their streams and get their money, because there's no real money in the music industry. They're not really selling their stuff. So, you know, to your point, Ray, again, people aren't listening anymore. They just it's part of their stick. Let's take a selfie. This is a great vibe. We're having fun. Pop some bottles, and off they go. They're not consuming the music. It's not moving them anymore, right? And so when I did the Reimagine album, you know, I wanted to make sure that what I made was engaging. When you start to hear it, it will draw you in and it will engage you for the whole album, because there is a space for that. And there's an audience for it. So I'm never going to ignore the fact there's an audience. I mean, I see everything going in cycles, right? Like, to me, this is what it is right now. In 5 years' time, there may be a revolt and say, you know, we want to get back to listening to real music. You know, things happen in cycles. So I don't think we're going to get to a point where, you know, AI is going to be completely dominant. It may look like it's going to get there, but there's always an inflection point where things change. And I have hope and I pray that, you know, enough people will be involved to make that happen.
I think when it comes to that as well, there's always going to be a rebel with a cause. You're always going to want to be listening to a singer because, well, not everybody, but it becomes rarity, and anything that's rare will have its own audience. Just like our scene, it was playing rare music, whatever people want to debate about rare music, but a certain amount of people gravitated towards that kind of music. Singing and a live artist, they ain't gonna go anywhere. they will always be there. It's just to the larger or lesser extent of the overall market. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking. I don't ever see it eradicating a live performing singer or artist or band. They will always be there. They will always be part of the music, and that's how I see it.
Well, I'm sorry to cut. I mean, the thing is, was it a couple of years ago? You had, if I remember rightly, there was a concert, and you had a hologram of Tupac, and there was another one. There was a hologram of Whitney Houston.
Oh wow!
Yeah. In the States, obviously. And I'm not saying it's going to go down that road.
Yeah, but come on, that's a novelty. I mean, it looks all right for a minute, but you're not going to pay to go and see that again. You know what I'm saying? It's just part of a show, isn't it? It's a performance.
Well, it was a concert. It was a concert thing. It was a concert. One of those festival things they had in the States.
But I'm sorry to interject there. It's not a novelty because now you're getting AI.
It is a novelty.
Well, no, it's like you're getting AI music videos now.
Yeah, but you're not going to pay to go and watch that, are you? You're not going to pay 50 or 60 quid or £100 or £120 to go and listen to a hologram. Who's going to do that?
Ray,
you're not going to do it.
Why go that way though?
Yeah, well, look, it worked for ABBA. They did that whole hologram tour, didn't they?
They did the whole,
yeah. It's in
with
the
no live performance.
No, it's all hologram.
And how much do they pay for that?
Yeah, people are paying for that. So yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the blueprint right there.
But I don't think it's going to become the norm, right? Like, to your point, I don't think it's going to become the norm. I mean,
no, I'm just saying it's there.
I mean, look at the Gorillaz, right? The Gorillaz was an animated group.
Yeah,
and they sold out shows in the US and did a whole tour, right? Like, it's never going to become the norm, and I'm always going to say that there's always going to be a scene for everybody, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The problem I have right now with a lot of the rhetoric that's online, right, and I'll be very blunt about it, is, you know, okay, some people don't like the idea of AI music. Get it, got it, understand, I actually respect it, right? You've got a stance, that's what you do, right? But if people like it or gravitate towards what someone's doing, don't tell them they're garbage or they're rubbish or you don't know about music. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying, you can't convince me that real musicians are the thing and that's what I'm into. But at the same time, you're telling people you can't listen to that, right? If that's your lane, stay in your lane. If there's people that like AI assisted or even AI generated music and there's a distinction between the two, then let them people have at it. To your point and to everyone's point, it's not going anywhere. Right, it's not going to go anywhere. It's going to be normalized in the next year, and in 2 years' time, no one's going to think about it.
Monk, can I ask you a question? Because someone said that AI is lazy in the chat. So let me just ask you, when you're doing, hey, I'm just asking a question.
Go ahead,
so the reimagined album, from start to finish, how many hours did you think, or do you think that you put into that body of work?
Me and the people I built it with, this was a 7-month project.
Okay. Yeah, so that's just a bit lazy then.
That's a bit lazy, yeah. Just a little bit.
Lazy month.
Right? that was a 7-month project, and again, I was working with. I've had a person who's trying to find out who's the musicians, who's the singers that's on the album. And one of the things that when we first started talking about doing a project, and these are artists that I know, right? And they've been following what I've been doing. They turned around and said to me, we'll get involved, but I don't want you to tell anybody who we are because of the noise on the outside about anyone being involved with it, right? They're legitimate musicians. If if people find out they're involved in the project, they'll be cancelled immediately, right? Dang. So out of respect for them, I won't reveal their names, and there's some names on there, like some people that I know that contributed some stuff. But anyone that says AI is lazy, right, and making AI music is lazy, they don't know how to make AI music. They don't understand how it's made and really made. This kind of top level prompting, write a song about Sally in the field and make it a pop song. You think something like what I do or what Ray does or anybody else that's serious about it, like VC Clark and the rest of those guys. We put in a lot of work. There's lots of iterations. There's lots of generations that happen. There's things we like, there's things we don't like. We stem it out, we put it onto other platforms. Like, there's a lot of work that goes into creating something like that, right? So anyone that thinks it's lazy, it ain't lazy. There's lots of lazy music out there in AI. I don't disagree. And if that's the majority of the stuff that you're hearing, then maybe you should dig a little bit deeper and go look for stuff that's actually really good. But the moment you hear or see it tagged AI, you immediately have this bias to say, oh, it's lazy. You just prompted that, and in 5 minutes that song came out. It's just not true. Not remotely.
No, and you're right. It is a process. You're right. It is a process. But again, it's, as you say, the pushback is because of lack of information. The process that goes with it, and like I say, you and also
You're too edge.
No. I've always said AI is here to stay, and I will maintain. When the vocals get better, I will be into it more. I've said that, but I did say I would play.
Okay, but
Ride the Wave in a thing.
Explain to me the vocals getting better. Are you talking about the generic Suno vocals that most people use?
Correct. That's
okay.
Right.
That's what you mean.
Yeah,
Stop using Suno.
But the thing, but the thing is this: Suno is an easy.
Right.
It's
yeah, but everybody starts somewhere, Jahrrell. Like,
no, you're right. Everybody has to start somewhere.
You're
right.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't expect people just to gravitate towards how Monk and Ray does it. They've been doing their business over years. Ray's X amount of experience actually producing the whole works. They're on a different level. It's a different level thing. When you're talking, and this is what I'm saying, this is why when we categorize it all together, that's my problem. Because people who are on Suno, they're just learning the craft. They might well go up to the next step now afterwards, but it seems to me that you guys don't want to give them a chance.
No. I'm not saying that.
I don't understand why you would be wanting to block them down, because it's similar to people blocking DJs back in the day, and that's because they were scared. When man moved from vinyl to laptop, and I remember the whole heap of palaver with DJs. I'm not playing on no laptop. It's not real. I'm not playing that. I'm playing vinyl. Vinyl is fine. I'm playing that. They did it because they were scared. Because they wasn't at the level that some of the people who were playing on a laptop and who had converted. So the scare factor came in. I'm not going to be as good as somebody who's on a laptop. And then what happened? They transitioned to a laptop. I don't hear them moaning no more, because 90% of DJs who used to play vinyl are playing on a laptop, which is what? Technology, which is what? AI assisted, which is this whole framing of how people are framing it is just a nonsense.
Oh no! Listen, no. There is a whole heap there are a whole heap of hypocrites, because, and I'm going to say this because, all right, AI. So the tracks. Anybody using stems on Serato right now is a form of AI, because you can take out the vocals, you can take out the rhythm track, you can take out the so it's a form of AI. So if you're a DJ or whatever, and there's DJs out there in the chat who are dead against it, but they use stems, that's a form of AI.
I don't know if it's a form of AI, my friend.
It's a technology, and from my standpoint, if you can manipulate the track, if you can take out the vocal, if you can do this and do that, isn't that like
beat match? Yeah, beat match. How many DJs beat match? What's that? They can't mix and save their life, but they can beat match.
So all I'm saying, there is a lot of hypocritical things going on in regards to it. So again, like I said, my standpoint is that, but I'm not pushing against it, because, like I said, it's here.
It's a Sean the hater. So it's a Sean the hater.
I wouldn't know. He's not a hater. No. You see, this ain't Sunday morning. This ain't the Situation Room. Stop it. Stop it. You see, you got the background. And you think it's Sunday morning. Anyway,
I think it's this right. If I was the hater, I wouldn't have been buying the music. I play music up to Tuesday on my show. I played Cosmic Love on my show off of your reimagined album, Monk. So if I was totally against it, I wouldn't play it. What I'm against is the rubbish ones. Yeah, and there's a lot of them, and I think the rubbish ones are way the good ones at the moment. Yeah, Ray, I've even come to you. You played on your show, and I came to a couple months ago when you played that Bob Marley remake. and I sent you a message, and you diverted me to what's the guy who's got the TV show again? Jay Blades. I think you said it's Jay Blades' track. Is Ray? Can Ray hear me?
Yeah.
He's frozen, isn't he?
Maybe
No, he's there.
frozen. Oh, he's there. Oh, he's taking in what you're saying, or he's watching the comments.
I
While
I
you're
don't think
talking.
he can. I don't think he's. I'm not sure if he can hear properly.
No, it's you, can't hear him.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, there's two Rays in it, so I'm thinking, I just gave it, you know, I was giving respect to who's Ray is.
I don't have a video show anymore.
I'm gonna say sweet vibes from now on. So
Call me Opaz.
tell them his life. I message you.
No, Ray, you keep your name, bro, because you know what I mean. Respectfully, I'll stay with vibes because you're the original on this one.
No. I will say this because, like I said, it's here to stay. Was it earlier in the year? Because for me, Jason's one of the better ones, and Colonel definitely makes some good tracks. Early in the year, he had a tune. Was it Sunny
Is
Day?
he the only one you're gonna mention? Is that it? Is
What?
Just,
What do you mean?
Just Colonel makes? Is just Colonel?
No, there's other people, but some of them are good. Some of them ain't that good. So, what do you want me to do? You want me to
Is
burn out?
anybody else that you want to mention?
It's
not a big pool, is it? It's not a big pool. No,
Anyway,
all I'm asking is like, you know, you can't just want to give out props to your friends, though, can you?
Look here.
You know,
If you want to apply for Jerry Springer, let's do the Jerry Springer thing there. Anyway, like I said, let me finish. Let me finish.
Any other AI?
I'm sure. I'm going to say this. I bought from Jason. I bought from Colonel, and I bought a gospel track from Boss Lady. That is it.
You're happy now, Ray?
You happy now? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it. And I bought a track from a gospel track from Boss Lady. So if you know that's it. I'm sure there's other makers out there doing their thing. But like I said, I don't know them. But those are the people who I have bought bits and pieces from. Yeah.
And you sure it's just the monk that you've supported?
I didn't say. What did I just say? Did I not say Colonel?
No, I'm asking Sean now.
Well,
Okay.
the only ones that I like, I buy what I like, innit? You know, I've got access to.
Yeah, but I just said, is it just so it's just Sean that? So it's just the monk that you personally.
There might be. No, I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell a lie. There's house AI. I've got house AI, which I've bought off of TrackSource. So there are tracks that I've bought off of TrackSource because I buy a lot of house, as people know. So there are tunes that I've bought off of TrackSource that are AI.
Cool.
So you bought yours, Ray? Who have you bought yours off? Maybe you could.
Well, I'm lucky enough that I'm lucky enough that you know I get sent a lot of tunes. But I don't know Monk. But I have purchased 3 or 4 tracks, and that track that you Feel the Fire, I've been playing it from since it's been released. Okay. So it's not, you know. So I do not. If I like a tune, I spend the money on it. It's not a problem, whether it's on iTunes, whether it's on TrackSource, whether it's an individual artist, whether it's on Bandcamp. Because to be fair, I spend a lot of money on technology. I don't spend a lot of money buying music, not like I used to. So when I do hear a track, if it's for me to spend a 99 pence, although I do believe, you know, although I do know that some of these AI producers charge a pretty penny more, you know. You know.
Well, really like who?
Well, yeah. Name the names. I mentioned the Muck Colonel and Boss Lady. Name the names, my man. Name the names.
I told you the only one who I've purchased is the Monk. I purchased other AI tunes on iTunes that I blatantly know is AI. I blatantly know it, but I kind of liked it. How it sounded, but I still purchase tunes by real artists, and the vast majority of the tunes that I purchase are by real artists. So to me, I don't look at the AI as the AI is taking over. I just look at it, it's just a genre of music now, which actually as I said, gets me back in love with the music that I grew up to. That's what hits me about it more than anything else. You know, a lot of the stuff that I hear is got, you know, it has got production and samples of back in the day, and I just like it.
All
So,
right, this is the thing. This is the thing. To the DJs then, but do you, let's say 18 months or even less, will you will you as a DJ or the raver accept a full AI set?
if it's good enough, Joe Blogs don't even know. Listen, they just want familiar tunes. You play, the majority of people that come out raving do not want to hear niche tunes. Yes, they might want to hear one or two tunes, but they run a mile. As soon as you start playing one or two new tunes in some of these dances, they run a mile and they empty the dance floor. So DJs just play familiar tunes to them that they know, especially when you're older. You want to hear sing-along tunes, tunes that you can sing along to and that.
All right,
If those AI tunes are, if a lot of them are doing just that, Joe Blogs won't notice. They've had a drink or two and they're raving, they're having a good time. They don't care. They really don't. I mean, that's you going off of that Joe Blogs. The vast majority know good music. They just know what makes them feel happy. It just makes them feel good. It doesn't have to be good music. I mean, some of the tracks that have come out, you know, back in the day that used to be top of the pops, #1, complete rubbish. But it's #1, and they were talking nonsense. You know what I mean? It could be the Muppet Show. It could be anything. You know, it could be rubbish. But yeah, it is #1. So if you're waiting on Joe Blogs, to pass that test, they will pass it at some point. You know what I mean? But I just don't believe that there'll be a whole set anyway of going out here in AI. I just don't believe a DJ will do that. He will use good tracks from the original bits, tracks from here, tracks from there, and just blend in it and just make a set. If you're a good DJ, you just want to make people feel happy. You just want to make people enjoy themselves, go home and come back and support you again. That is your job to do. The radio DJ is something, you know, it's something a bit different, but yeah, I don't see it changing. That's my opinion. My humble opinion.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And I'm mainly posing a question because at the end of the day, I mean, I had a conversation with somebody, and you know, there is a possibility that people may happen a full AI set. I don't know how the raving public would take it. Well, I'm going to say it depends on the actual event. If it's a regular circuit thing, no, I can't see that happening. A couple of tracks here, a couple of tracks there.
But most events are regular circuit things and play regular circuit music. That's what they are.
No, the majority. Yeah, the majority.
That's what I said. That's what they are. It's only niche, like Sean does the neo soul. So that's niche. You know what I mean? Like he plays a lot of different music, but it's for a certain type of clientele. That's all.
Okay. Right. So with that, so no full AI sets for now, people. for now. So
we'll be long gone before that.
Yeah. So for all them man, they've got the USB stickers ready to bust it this weekend. Hold the horses. Anyway, so with that, so you know, the plan. As I said, Jason, where do you see? I don't know, in another, let's say, 18 months or so, where do you see all this going in regards to AI and music in general, really? But let's say AI because that's what we're talking about. And do you think that the stance will soften as time goes by? Because it's in its infancy right now, and there is a lot of pushback. So
it's like anything else, right? Like to Ray's point earlier, when sampling came in for hip hop, there was a big uproar. You're stealing other people's music. You're just looping funky drummer. Like it's not creative. It's not music, right? Well, you know, as people started to experiment and get creative with it, the Public Enemies, the Jay Dillas, the Premiers, the Pete Rocks, it became normalized, right? And it became art, right? AI is a little bit different from a technology perspective. There's the I think the positive side of the capabilities is going to definitely improve over the next 18 months, and I'm looking at it based on how it's improved over the last 2 years, right? Like what I made 2 years ago, versus now, I couldn't imagine that I could make something like Reimagined even a year ago. That's how quickly it's advancing. But as it's advancing and getting better, the noise is getting more, right? Because it started to challenge what they consider to be real music. Maybe not in the next 18 months, but at some point it will normalize. To Ray's point, as these software companies that create DAWs like Logic and Pro Tools start to incorporate AI tools into their tool set and into their production chain, the noise will start to quell somewhat, right? What Suno and other platforms are going to do in terms of the monetization of that music may add a little wrinkle to all of that in terms of the pushback. But as a technology, it's going to improve. It's going to get better. Vocals will get better. They'll become more human, right? The way you describe vocals, it'll be able to interpret it a lot easier than it does now. And, one thing AI does really well is context. Once it understands the context of something and how it works, it kind of builds on that, right? You can build on it really quickly. And vocals will be the last thing that's going to get touched, but eventually vocals will get there as well. So it will just continue to evolve, and more people will start to do better music as they start to understand it more. Hopefully the slop will start to die down a little bit with some of the constraints that's been put on places like Suno. You can't download more than 20 tracks in a month, and eventually it'll become a walled garden, as they say, like UDO, which means you can't download any tracks, and they'll control that part, right? So I think there'll be a more of acceptance in 18 months. I don't think it will ever be fully accepted because of the nature of AI and everything around AI in general, not just music. But it will definitely be a less noise in 18 months.
I agree. Like I said, it's in its infancy, and anything that's new initially gets a bashing because a lot of it is ignorance and blinkers. But that said, right now, certain fraternities and certain sets of DJs are dead against it. And
but is that true though?
Well, hey, I know you're going with this, and I know.
No, I want to talk like, is it true though? I mean, there's a DJ I used to send my music to, clearly knows it's AI, but then is on the comments trashing AI.
Well,
and while you're there, can I just address the point that D-Mac just said? So he just said that the only track that he bought was The Monk, and that's because I thought he was a real artist. But D-Mac, you're always putting your foot in your mouth. You are a guy that your playlist have 2, 3 AI tunes in it that you probably don't even know are AI, and you're playing it, and you probably bought it.
All right.
So,
listen.
I don't.
I said no. I don't want to put D-Mac on. I don't want to put D-Mac on.
It was D-Mac you was talking about.
Hold on.
Ray can sleep good tonight because he just smashed up the man.
He did it himself.
No offense. I say this with respect, right?
This reminds me of COVID. Reminds me of COVID, but we move on. We move on. No. I ain't gonna let that slide. Go on, sir. Go on.
D-Mac has been getting my music from the beginning, right? Right? And he's been playing my music, and he knows it's AI because I don't hide the fact it's AI.
Yeah.
So to come out publicly and say that's the only one he played, and he thought it was a real artist. No, you didn't. I made it very clear. I don't hide the fact, right? I don't hide the fact. I'm a person that integrity is a big thing for me, right? It's a big thing for me. And you know what I mean? If you like the music, you like the music. Well, for whatever reason you're saying what you're saying, big man, like I don't understand why you're saying it, because you play my music and you know it's not me. I don't have a female voice, right? Like, you know what I mean? Right? I don't hide the fact that it's AI. I've never hidden the fact that it's AI. I've been very public about it, right? So, you know,
my eyes are watering, man.
You're on my mailing list. You have everything that I've ever released. You have a copy of. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Like, it's not. Let's not do that, bro.
That bus ran him over completely. He just went right under there.
Don't do that, man. Don't do that, man. Don't do that.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on and quickly.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Oh, Lord. So
I say that respectfully, though.
I got track like that, man.
Wait, my man reverse over him, you know. He wasn't content. He reversed over him.
I don't have none of that, man.
All right. Mr. Hayden, let's move on because
So collective group of singers from Canada. Okay.
Listen, leave him alone. Leave him alone.
No, we're moving.
Yeah, leave him alone, man.
Right. So, Mr. Hayden, like yourself, with how do you? Well, I asked you this already. Like, how do you with the workflow? But I mean, the reality is, will you ever create a track? And I think you said you did one already, fully AI.
Yeah, I did.
I think you said you're right. Would those be? Will you go down that road and do more, or was this like a one-off, or would there be like special projects and all that sort of stuff?
No, actually, it was something I really had. I'm actually quite excited by all new technologies, even if they seem threatening. I always like, how does that work? You know, how can I use that and so on. So when this whole AI thing blew up, I was kind of a little bit late to the bandwagon. Then I saw this company. They were called OpenBeat, right? OpenBeat AI. And I was acknowledging and feeling all of the moral and ethical arguments about, you know, doing something that's basically stealing from my own work as well, because I know my stuff's being hit by Suno, right? So OpenBeat had at the top of their website that their model was ethically sourced material, right? And they even had pictures of like producers and stuff up on their site that well-known guys out in the States working in contemporary R&B. And I was like, okay, cool, this looks good. And I tried it, and my plan was to do remixes of my back catalog, because I've got like nearly 35 years of material. And I can't remix my material because I lost all my tapes, all my DATs, everything, when my studio got flooded. So for years and years, I've never been able to do any proper remixes on my old stuff, right? And then this comes along, and I'm able to take just say my lyrics, and I put them into OpenBeat's songwriter tool, and I asked it to create with a prompt, an elaborate prompt, to create a version that was an R&B pop version, that was a country and western version, that was a rock version, and a soulful house version of one track, and it can do it like really well, right? This was OpenBeat. But then I saw that another YouTube influencer had discovered that OpenBeat were lying, and that it wasn't actually ethically sourced. And in fact, what it was they had an API that was tapping into the back end of Suno, Suno's Model 5, I think it was. And that the track that I had created was actually genuinely created by Suno. So that is when Suno did the work, and it came back into OpenBeat and made it look like it was OpenBeat's work, ethical, but it wasn't. So I put the track out, and I had set up a separate label. I even had to go to a different distribution company, because my distribution company don't do AI at all. So I had to get another deal just for this idea, this concept. So I went through DistroKid, who have a great little portal, and I put out my one AI track. But by the time I put it out, that's when I discovered that OpenBeat weren't being honest. So I stopped the project because I can't see a way of doing it that I would feel comfortable with, given that I don't know who that voice is now. I don't know if that's. I mean, the track was a remix of one of the Real Nez Project tracks. and it's really great. It's really awesome piece of AI music. But I'm now worried in case I've ripped somebody's voice off, and whether the chords were from some tune that I never heard, but it's like blatantly a rip off. So that's where I feel valuable, and I also feel like ethically it's wrong
Okay.
to take somebody's work. So I stopped it, but it's something that I would love to look at later. But I think it will be a while before you can genuinely say that the model that the music is being trained on, that you're asking it to create something from, is ethical or not, and that's important to me.
Cool. Thank you so much for that, sir. All right, I'm going to read a comment when I suggested this a couple of weeks ago. Nigel B, and I asked him if I could paraphrase his comment on my post. So Nigel B said this. I wanted him to be on today actually, but he's doing a funeral, so unfortunately he couldn't make it. But Nigel B's words were right. AI debate, everything in moderation. There are some really good AI assisted tunes out there, Colonel, Boss Lady, etc. But let's face it, there are also some terrible ones. But I think some of the resistance to AI comes from people simply not having access to better material being produced. Like most things, when people don't understand something and don't have access to it or don't know it, how to use it properly, it's easy to rubbish it and justify the opinion saying it's not authentic, it's not real music. But I bet if the same people complaining about it the loudest about AI music suddenly had access to the quality stuff. Like most things, when people don't understand it, something you don't have access to or you don't know. No, sorry. I bet those same people complain the loudest music, access tracks heard. But they've heard them, but they secretly like them, but they won't say it because they might have to lose face, as we've seen tonight. So, and that's so yeah. So anyway, to finish off Nigel B's thing, but there is also some very valid criticism, because when you hear some of the badly written and badly produced, obviously AI generated tunes being put out there, you can completely understand why people are skeptical. That's Nigel B. So and thank you for that, sir, because I had to ask him before I could say anything. But again, like with everything new, there is always going to be pushback, and there's loads of pushback in the comments, loads. I've seen it, and it's not just DMAC. There's loads of others. But at the end of the day, it will improve, and let's see a year from now, 18 months from now, they'll always, like I said, some of the old school heads, the vinyl heads and so on, I can't see them really, really changing too much. But I think once there's more, as Nigel B, there's more access and there's more better stuff coming out, I think in time I think it will change. Because like I said, I'm on the fence. I'm not on the fence. I'm not on the fence. I'm not against it, but at this moment in time, it's not getting my full support at this moment in time. But I know a year, 18 months down the line, my tune will probably change completely different. And probably a lot of people in the chat rooms, some of them, not all of them, but some of them will change as well. But again, that's life. That's life.
Can I ask you something?
Go ahead.
There's new music that falls into the categories that we're probably talking about. Does that get your full support?
Not all of it, no. Not all of it, no. So it's
no difference.
No difference. No, you're right. I mean, it's just like I could easily say, like for the DJs who are playing AI, and like I said, music is subjective, and as you rightly said at the very beginning, it's all about what takes it here. You know, if it doesn't resonate with you, you're not buying it, you're not playing it. But some people would say, well, and it's a new thing. This AI thing is a new thing, but let's say for the last 10 years, new music hasn't been great, and I'll be the first one to say that. But there are still some new bits and pieces that I believe that could be played, should be played, that haven't been played for whatever reason. So I suppose for those who are in that segment and in that field, and I'm in it as well to a degree, I would say, what happened? Why is it that some of that stuff still hasn't been? And as you said, the older heads. I've always said this: the older heads can't process new music, can't process it. But the AI stuff at this moment, some can, some can't. But a lot of DJs I've noticed they've picked it up quite easily, and yeah. But a lot of the stuff is just well, not any really words regurgitated, but as Ray said, familiar, especially the covers. A lot of it's familiar, but I'd like to know why some of the, apart from obviously the Monk, who still hasn't filtered that into the clubs yet. You can hear your stuff on live streams on radio, but hasn't filtered into the clubs yet. So hopefully, if we have the discussion in a year or two, that may well be the norm. And if it hasn't been the norm, then you got to say to yourself, it definitely is a case of the older heads can't process the new stuff, and it is about it. The familiarity thing just takes precedent.
I just don't. Again, from a DJ perspective, it's the right set of things come together to play that music. I've played an AI tune in a club environment. It went down fine. It just depends on the right set of things come together. As a DJ, you will know, and then you'll fit it in, and then the crowd play.
Oh no, I'm not disputing that. I'm not disputing that at all. I'm not disputing that at all. But like I said, hopefully, in a year from now, you may hear somebody like the Monk, or if Mr. Hayden plays something, or makes something that's AI assisted or whatever. You may hear that, in a year, 18 months down the line, because I suppose that's I guess for an artist is, that's the recognition. If you can hear your track being played in the club, and people are dancing to it, nodding their head to it, whatever, then so well, you know what, you've made people happy. Being played on live streams of radio is fantastic, but I think if you can get your music played in the rave, the club environment, I believe, tell me if I'm wrong, that would let you know, that sets the marker for you, so to speak.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's the ultimate test, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
Especially if you're working in black music, particularly, you want to know that if your tune drops, that people are stepping for it, basically. That's when I was working in my studio in Hackney, I had a complex that way. There was about 4 or 5 different studios, smaller little workspaces. People would be like a community, and other producers would pull us around when they were really happy with what they had produced. And if people weren't dancing in their studio when they put their tune on, they would be in shock. They would be like, "No, it's obviously not reaching." So that's the fundamental part of how I see what I do. I know most of my producer friends are the same. Is if they're making a track that's supposed to have a wicked beat on it, and nobody's getting out of their chair, then you fail. You just like track panel beating.
Yeah. Yeah, Jason, same for you, or is it right now just about establishing your brand and your craft? It's just establishing.
Well. First of all, you assume that none of my tracks have been played in the club.
I'm just asking.
They have, in fact.
We're in Canada, or probably.
No, in the UK.
Oh, in the UK. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. When I did the pre-release for Reimagined, one of the DJs, Feels Like Fire. He took it to the club that night and sent me the video. He just played it.
Cool.
And he goes, the place went crazy. So it did what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right. So, again, if he had gone with the whole announcement of, oh, this next track is AI music and blah 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 blah, maybe people would be like, okay, I'm not going to dance to it. But he just played it in the flow of what he was playing. It fitted.
Works.
He sent me a video of the reaction, and it's a reaction I was looking for. I mean, I've been a DJ since I was 13. I know what this sounds like, right? When I build my music, I built it for that. To be honest, I built the whole Reimagined album for the UK scene.
Okay.
It was built for that, right? It was built for you lot. That's why it sounds so familiar. So when I do music, it's very, I really do plan it out. When I planned out the Reimagine album, that's the audience I wanted to capture, and I knew that people would like it, whether it's to listen to or to dance to. So whether I get played in the club or don't get played in the club, it doesn't really bother me. I'm very proud of what I've done. I'm glad it's resonated with people because the sales look good and the feedback's been good, and I get tons of emails of saying how they've enjoyed it, just as music, not whether it's AI or not. Like I really enjoy the album. I really enjoy the story it told. It feels familiar. It feels good. Different people will have favorite tracks on the album. It's not one consistent track. It's people have different tracks on the album that they like. So so that tells me it's well rounded. So, it's, to me, it's a nothing burger. You know what I mean? It's going to do what it does. And it's doing what it's doing.
Can I ask you a question, Monk?
Yeah.
Jason, what is your favorite track? What is your favorite track?
This guy.
Putting you on the spot
on the album or across my catalogue?
Across your catalogue.
Oh, Ride the Wave.
Okay.
No conversation. Ride the Wave.
Right. Look, on the Reimagine.
Probably my most personal track, which is Hold Me Close, number 10.
Okay.
That uses the Chloe Martin sample.
Okay.
That's probably my favorite track.
Nice one.
Did you buy that track, Sean?
No, I didn't buy that one. I bought Cosmic Love, a couple others I've bought as well.
All right. Okay. What's the time? All right. If anybody else wants to elaborate on anything, I may well call it time.
Just to round it off, I think we're talking about, I don't know, in the next 10 to 20 years, 3 types of artists. AI. Well, you're going to have your real artists. I don't think that's going anywhere. I think Ray pointed out to it earlier. You're going to have the synthetic artists, and that's probably the one that's owned and managed by Ray or the Monk or a corporate company or a Sony or a BMG. And then you're going to have the human artists who use AI, which is there anyway, because there's a lot of people that use it extensively. They just don't know that people are using it.
What this whole thing has been fascinating, and it's been an eye opener for a lot of people, myself included. Like I said, it's just Ray Hayden is an artist, and a musician and everything, and he's all right. But what I did want was a singer's perspective and so on and so on. And it's just a shame that a lot of these people didn't want to turn up, and certain DJs as well didn't want to take part, because some of them are in the chat room. Certain people I asked in the chat room and so on, and it would have been nice to, instead of being keyboard,
can't go with spilt milk, mate. Just let it go, innit?
Let it go. But the thing is, they're busy in the chat room. But why not put yourself in the thing? But it's a different thing. Anyway,
Jahrrell, someone asking you if you're not gonna do what the chat room, no quick questions. I don't know if you want to take questions.
All right, that's all right. Then fine.
I can sure not mine. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
Live callers, mate.
No, that's that piece. That again. Apart from one, but they're disposed now, so the rest of them, no joy. It's crazy. Everybody's yes, and then at the last minute, everybody's sick. Apart from Martin, who's in the hospital. So get well soon, sir. But yeah. All right, then let's do this. What's the album called? What album? Are you talking about the Monk? Okay. You can tell the chat room what your album's called, sir, and where they can get it from.
The album is called Reimagined. You can get it from Bandcamp. Search for the Monk, and then you'll see it. The Monk Reimagined. You can get it there. If you're a vinyl head, You can also get it from Elastic Stage, vinyl and CD. The vinyl is a limited edition. There's only 200 copies available, and they've only got a few copies left. So if you want to go get it, then they get it now. It's not coming back again.
Okay. All right. A question, but I think we've answered this. But somebody in the chat room, Manny, question for the AI producers: if you ever make it big, how are you going to put on a show with an AI track?
I actually had this discussion with Gwendolyn Collins.
Okay.
Right. So anyone that's a musician, and Ray will appreciate this, you know, when we were putting together the album, we put together the album with the idea of a live band being able to play it. Right. So it has a lot of live elements in there. So I was actually talking to Gwendolyn Collins, and I said, you know, we've done a lot of work together in the past with the Virgo Lounge. She used to come to Canada, do shows and stuff with iLive. And I said to her, you know, if I ever want to do the Monk, Reimagine live, you know, we should be down. She's down. She's heard it. She knows what it is, you know. So I will have a live band actually do the live show.
Oh, cool. All right. Good question. This one, not just the hits. Mr. Hayden, Mr. Monk, what is their revenue like, considering you don't have any don't have to pay session musicians?
Well, for me, I only have to pay myself because I make all my tracks and play all my instruments and do most of my singing. I sometimes bring in Martin Jahrrell or somebody if I can get somebody else. But I do have to make those upfront costs. And then I put my tracks out with the video. The video costs money to make. So my costs, I've got them down. You know, I'm using AI in my videos. I'm not using AI in my tracks. I'm using virtual AI instruments. So I'm not using AI to create anything. So, but I have done an AI track where it did all the work. So I'm not like totally against AI, but it's just it won't work with my sound because people would not recognize what I do if I changed it. So I do what I do, but I get it to help where I can.
Okay.
Say
You, Jason.
Oh, you're asking what's my cost?
Well, I'm just repeating the question.
Okay. So especially for this last project, you know, the musicians and singers I worked with did it pro bono. You know, we have an agreement. You know, they get a percentage of every sale that comes, and obviously then, you know, I had to register the samples too, so they're going to take their slice of the cake. So it's all legitimate to the point where, you know, other than the somewhat unethical side of the fact that these models are trained on music that's with no permission. I mean, that's the kind of the gray area. But so yeah, so the upfront costs for me are pretty much minimal. What it costs me is time, and that's one thing that I can't, you know,
get back. Fair enough. All right, with that, let's call it a night because that's what come up to. Yeah. So let me start with Sweet Vibes. So where can people find you? What will you be doing in the next over the weekend, which is Carnival
weekend. Sunday, Jerry Bascom's got a thing. Over by the BBC TV down in Wood Lane, over there by Shepherd's Bush.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking. Yeah.
So I'm there Sunday till midday. Then I'm at We Love Rare Groove down on the south side. Monday I'm at Carnival on Mastermind's set, which is up by Tesco, which we play there on a regular basis. See if I can sneak in an AI chat there. See if people on that. Then I'm back again at the same club again for Jerry Bascom on the Sunday, but both these events are sold out anyway, so you can't get no tickets. And you can get me online at Fifth Avenue Official on most of the platforms, or Junior Banton on Facebook, or you just see me when I'm out and about, really playing along, or all black or all white cocoa or all black cocoa or whatever. wherever. And can I just say before I go, respect to Ray Hayden. Fell in love with your music from a long time ago. That track with Martina Jahrrell was one of our blues dance favorites, and we loved it. Nice to meet you. And the Monk, keep on doing what you're doing, sir. Keep on pushing hard. Keep on breaking boundaries. You know what I mean? And Sean, just give it a little bit more. You know, just open your ears just a little bit more to it. You know what I mean? And don't be so hard on it. You know what I mean, Sean? I'm sure it will come better. You know what I mean? Same to you, Jahrrell, and thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, Sean, tell the people where they can find you and etc. etc.
Okay, so you can. I'll talk about my radio show because that's where the most busiest at the moment. Each and every Tuesday, 8 to 11 on www.lightningradio.net. I play neo soul influenced music. So I mix it up with a bit of soulful house, Afro house as well. Got a couple of dates coming up. I'll be back at that thing after a long hiatus. I'll also be at not Cocoa Blacks, but a black party, which will be Simon Says and Half Pints. I'll be down there DJing. Yeah, if you want, you can follow me on all social media platforms. Just put in Soul de Jour. Follow me on there. You can be kept posted on my forthcoming events. Oh yeah, I'm also should be doing Sexy and Black with my good old mate Michael Bowen, which will be in November. That will be part 7, and Musicology will be making a return because I kind of took a break from the promoting due to my mum's health, so I kind of took a backseat to it for a while, as you know, Jahrrell. So, yeah, slowly but surely getting back out there. All right.
All right, cool. Okay.
Ray, nice to meet you. Monk,
Yeah, bro.
connected with you today. It's been a pleasure to share the platform with you and hear your thoughts on your music, your creations. So yeah, Ray, respect always. You know, one of the hottest DJs out there, bar none. Yeah. So,
thank you, brother. Nice to meet all you guys, by the way.
Yeah,
thank you for inviting me onto this platform.
No worries. Mr. Hayden, let people know where they can find all your tags, your social tags, and what projects you got next, and etc. etc.
Well, the thing I'm working on at the moment is literally like nearly a 2-year-long project. It's called The Real Nez, and it's 10 songs that tell one story. And I'm very into film as well. I've got a part of my company, which is now Opaz Multimedia, as film. So I've been using AI videos to tell the story of each of the songs. And we're up to episode 9, which drops on the 9th of the 9th. And then the last one drops on 11/11. And that will be How Do You Find Yourself? And the very first of this series was called How Do You Lose Yourself? And it tells the story of this girl called Nez.
So, where can people find that?
It's the best place is to go to opazmultimedia.com, which is my website, and all my other stuff is on there as well, all the old tunes, legacy stuff, and the whole series, which is 9 videos now, are up on YouTube. So that's YouTube at Opaz Multimedia. Have a look; it's good fun.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. And last but not least, Jason the Monk. Tell people what you got lined up, any surprises, any future projects or anything happening.
All right. Yeah. So tomorrow, I'm dropping the remixes for Hold Me Close. So they've been pre-released. The drop is tomorrow. So we'll get off this call. I've got to prepare for that. There will be an album coming out at the end of September, which is basically the tracks that didn't make it to the Reimagined album. They're called the Lost Tracks. So I'll be releasing that. Fingers crossed in October, I'll be in England for an extra long weekend. And we're having a little conversation about doing an album signing party for those people that, bought the album and want to sign it. So, but we're still early in conversations around that. In terms of social media, you can find me The Monk Music 70 on Instagram and also on Facebook. And obviously my Bandcamp, The Monk Music, and Elastic Stage.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much. I'd like to thank you guys, all of you, for taking part and were willing to have this discussion, because lots weren't. For those who couldn't make it, maybe next time, if there's a next time. And for myself, I'm not on no radio station, nothing like that. I do live streams, but I'm not consistent, but I need to be. So, you get the when I do one, I'll fling up on Facebook and people can come in and listen to whatever I watch, my round face and hear me play music and chat foolishness. But it works. So anyway, so that's me. Yeah. So Jahrrell The Rastaman Soul, Mixcloud, Facebook, Instagram, etc. But to all of you guys, thank you. It was a eye opener. I'm sure a lot of us learned something new. I'm sure some people, I'm hoping those who watched took something new as well, took something from it. And I know somebody's in A&E now getting treated because they get lashed. Yeah, I said it. Anyway. With that.
Where you tried to hold it in.
He tried. Anyway, so with that, let me say thank you to you all. Thank you to everybody who watched. Mute yourself, sir. Mute yourself. Thank you to everybody who watched, and I hope you took something from it, good or bad. I hope you took something from it, good or bad, regardless. I hope you took something from it, and and I hope your ears will be more acceptable, your eyes will be more acceptable, and when you talk. Anyway, no, I ain't gonna say that. Thank you, gentlemen. It was a pleasure. It was an honor, and I may do something like this again. I don't know when. I don't know what on. But if I do, you guys will be the first I'll call to partake.
No problem.
In whatever.
No problem, brother. It's good.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice one. All right, gents, and to everybody.
Right.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
All right.
All
Good
right.
evening.
Good night.
Good night.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Take care.